6 Central.
On Super Soul Sunday, we often talk about American author and mythologist Joseph Campbell. He coined the phrase, the hero's journey, capturing thousands of years of storytelling in that single phrase. Elizabeth is also fascinated by his work and was curious as to why the hero's journey rarely had a woman as the center of the story. Now, what I love that you're talking about on this Life You Want tour is the hero's journey. And I, who have loved Joseph Campbell and quoted Joseph Campbell and talked about following your bliss and, so many wonderful Joseph Campbell quotes, I never knew that he felt that way about women in the journey.
Well, we love Joseph Campbell, and we should love him, and I do love him, and I still love him, and he was just the reporter, really.
Yes.
I mean, in a way, it wasn't that he was a misogynist. It was that he was accurately reporting that world history.
There are no women in the hero's journey.
Which is, guess what?
Let's talk about the hero's journey.
Yeah, so the hero's journey. So Joseph Campbell, great 20th century scholar and teacher, a real master, a real encompassing genius, spent his entire life studying the myths, the fairy tales, and the religious origins of every culture on Earth, looking for common threads, right? And he discovered that there's this one story that never stops being told. And it's been told since we became human. We're telling it now. We tell it in every language of the world. It never goes away. And that's the hero's journey. And it's very recognizable. It's Luke Skywalker. It's Odysseus. It's Moses. It's Nemo. It's Bambi.
Yes.
And it's a restless youngster who gets called to the journey, goes through the road of trials, suffers through dark nights of the soul, finds his teachers, faces the battle, loses his fear. That's the shorthand for the hero's journey. We need that story. It's a beautiful story. It inspires us. It shows us the way. But it's never included women. And that's a big oversight. Mm-hmm. That the most important human story that has ever existed doesn't include women, except as side characters. You can be the hero's mom.
Yeah.
You can be the helpless virgin. You can be the old crone.
Right.
But you can't be the hero. That's only for men. And I had a problem with that. And Joseph Campbell got challenged on that a lot by a lot of young women
students,
who would just say, can you please give us some examples of the female hero's journey? And he would say, no.
Because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And then he would give the reason, which I also have problems with. And he would say the reason is that women don't need to go on the hero's journey because the hero's journey is all about the process through which a broken person becomes whole. Women don't need to do that process because women aren't broken. Women have no unresolved emotional issues. You and I know that.
Yes, yeah.
Women are totally whole already because women possess this extraordinary power. They're the life givers. They're the womb. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones who can generate life on Earth, and therefore their purpose is obvious, which is to have babies, and only to have babies.
As you're saying, as you're standing on stage saying that, as we're traveling the country, I mean, I just marvel at the fact that you and I and every other woman watching were born at this time.
Oh, so lucky.
Because you talk about the fact that, and I don't think we as women people appreciate it enough, that really, we're the first generation that really has been allowed to choose for ourselves.
To write our own story.
And to write our own story.
The first, and I say it all the time, we're a new species.
But it's astonishing. It's just astonishing.
And the problem, and the reason that sometimes we feel half insane is that we don't have what men have. We don't have 30,000 years of role models to show us how to be the hero. We don't have any, really, until very recently.
That's right.
We don't have Odysseus. We don't have Moses. We don't, Odysseus is out there.
Anybody, yeah.
He's out there sailing around the world. Where's Penelope, his wife? She's got that big scene at the loom, weaving and weaving and weaving and waiting.
Yeah.
And waiting.
And waiting.
And waiting for something to change to her life.
Yeah.
Because she has no agency other than her job, which is to be loyal and faithful. Well, he's out there sleeping with goddesses and sailing around the world. So it's understandable to me when women hesitate on the brink of the journey and wonder, no wonder they don't feel like they have permission to do this. No wonder it's scary. Who did this before us? Your grandmother didn't do this.
Right.
Maybe your grandmother did if you were like British aristocracy and she was, but probably not.
But for